Monster might be overrated, but disgusting, yes.
It's true. I'm horrible to look at.
No, just a little
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer looking ass.
Yeah.
Hi, welcome to Small Town Big Gays. We are the gays who are too large for how small of a town we live in. I'm Chance.
I'm Travis.
How are you?
I'm lovely. How are you?
I'm so good.
We're both doing great.
We're doing fantastic.
Yeah.
Busy.
It's not Pride weekend in the Chippewa Valley coming up, is it?
No. Nothing else is going on either.
Nope. We're both just doing everything great and chipper and happy.
Yep. Well, by the time this airs, Pride will be almost over, I think.
We'll be almost over. I mean, it'll still be Pride Month, but
True.
You know, most of the large events in the Chippewa Valley will have been come and gone.
Which, thank God, honestly.
It's going to be a great weekend.
It's going to be
busy but fun.
It's going to be so much fun.
Yeah.
And we're going to go into it with positive attitudes, and everything's going to work out perfectly, and nothing will go wrong.
No, it'll be great.
Mm-hmm. Hey, it's me, Chance from the future. Everything did go great. It was a great weekend. Forgive my general malaise. I had an infection in my nose, and I was really sad. So it was a great weekend.
How was your week?
Great. You put me in drag.
I did.
I looked beautiful.
Yeah, you did.
You did such a good job with that. Mm-hmm. So many compliments. I did not take credit for it myself, even though I should have. I'll insert the picture here for the YouTube version and post it on our social media. I look. But yeah, it was, the Turnabout show was a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. It was a lot of fun dressing like a slut and bartending in drag. And you put Nick in drag as well, and yourself in drag, and you didn't put anyone else in drag, did you?
No, I think 3 was enough.
Yeah.
Every day. Yeah, and I thought you and Nick both looked great.
We did.
Redemption moment for Nick.
Truly. Redemption moment for Divine. She
did great with Paige too.
She did.
Yeah.
I literally thought it was Divine as Paige was walking up. I was like, damn, you got taller.
Yeah, everyone looked really good, actually. Yeah. Like, there was no heinous bugs this year, unlike last year.
Sorry, Nick.
Yeah. My only complaint was John. I don't know if he listens to the podcast.
I don't believe so.
I don't think he would either. He looked like he was going to crap himself the entire time.
Did he?
Downstairs, and he didn't want to wear a wig.
He did put a wig on later, though, and it looked stunning.
Yeah, he would have. I think it would have helped him. Mm. And he apparently came up to someone during his performance and said, "I don't know this song." To which I said, "Babe, you picked it. What? Why are you pulling a Chloe?" I honestly didn't get to see a lot of his performance, but I tried to watch as many as I can. But it's hard when you're sweating and then also trying to get yourself ready and, just make sure things are moving. And
you went through like 3 outfit changes.
Yeah.
3 to 5.
Yeah. It was 4 for sure, maybe 5. I did rip one because I was really tight and I was sweating, and it's really sad because it was expensive and beautiful. Yeah, so it was just a busy day, but I love the Turnabout show. It's really fun.
Yeah.
Because it really gives like people who like, I think understand our, I don't think lifestyle's the right choice of words, but understand like what we do. But then like once they do it, they really appreciate what we do and have an understanding for how much work goes into everything we do.
Because you think it's just you put on some makeup and then you trounce around like a little floozy in front of people and collect cabbage, but there's more to it than that.
That's a big part of it.
It is a big part of it, but there's more to it. Like when you're thinking about your number, you have all these ideas in your head and, oh, I'm going to do this, this, and this. And then the second you walk up on stage,
you forget it all.
Blank.
Yeah. And you just kind of go with the moment. Mm-hmm. And yeah, and it's just really physically uncomfortable. It's tiring. It's hot. It's a lot of work. And it's a little mentally exhausting too. It's just a lot going on.
But I bartended in press-on nails, and that was a mistake.
Yeah, that's impressive though.
Yeah. Most of them stayed on too.
Yeah.
It was surprising. Press-on nails or long nails in general are a sign of a soft life. Mm-hmm.
That's why I don't wear them.
Because you're a hard worker.
I'm a brick.
You're never soft.
No, those are, if I were to probably get critiqued about my drag, the 2 things I the things I barely ever wear are nails and boobs. Boobs has just always been because a lot of like costuming for like, I would say a lot of plus size fashion for women is very much showing off breasts because a lot of plus size women have beautiful breasts, so they like to show them off. And like the way it fits with like my boy chest, my flabby boy chest, it's not really flattering to put like, I can't wear a boob form because it like shows like it's usually pretty small fabric. Does that make any sense? I don't know.
Yeah.
Where you'll see a part of the foam where I can't wear them. So I don't often wear them, but when I can, I will try.
You just got to press your big natural titties.
I used to tape my breasts up all the time, and I have scars on my skin.
Really?
I'm ripping my skin off from duct tape adhesive.
See, duct tape was your first mistake.
Well, what other tape do you use?
They make like body tape.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if that stuff really works that great. I think that's more for like real women's breasts to just give them a little.
Well, yeah, but like kinesiology tape or something.
Oh, yeah. Maybe I should try that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I used to wake up with, even despite after taking a shower after drag, you still have like sticky residue, and I would stick to my sheets and then have to rip the sheets off of my open wounds.
Yeah.
So I said, not worth it.
That's good.
Just not worth it.
Know your worth. Know what you're
and nails,
getting into.
I honestly wear a lot of gloves.
They fucking hurt too.
Yeah. Well, I just can never get them to stay on that great. And I'm like, I am constantly moving during drag shows. I'll say nails are a luxury for just a regular queen. They're not really practical for someone who's doing a lot of extra work. You know, like I'm not only like, I have to quick change because I'm also emceeing almost all the fucking shows we do here.
Hey, I help sometimes.
You do, and I love that. I love when I get a reprieve. But it's also like people like when I house shows because I do it all the time. So they're used to me. So they like when I do it. And I like doing it. I think I'm really good at it. I think there's some people who like to do it but aren't good at it. It's a very special talent. It really is to host. So I'm just busy. I don't have time to like worry about if a fucking nail's going to snap or like taking my time getting in my next costume. Like I have to fucking go.
Yeah.
And I ain't got time. And usually I try and wear gloves if I'm not wearing a nail because then it at least covers that. So I try to wear gloves for every performance, but sometimes it doesn't happen. And there's imperfection in the real world, and I can't be perfect all the time.
No, you can't.
So if you don't like me not wearing nails or boobs, you can fuck off.
I forgot
big boobs.
Big boobs.
Anyway.
What do you want to talk about today?
Well, nothing.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I did have one thing that I thought we should do, which I've been seeing all over I don't know if it's a TikTok trend, but it's at least like happening on TikTok a lot of people talking about during Pride Month making their gay Mount Rushmore. Have you seen that?
No, I have not.
So people are just asking in interviews who they would put as the four faces on the gay Pride Mount Rushmore. Okay. And who would you pick to be your four people?
So like just personal Mount Rushmore or like
I would think I think it should be like people that are like well known, like people who like, you know how real Mount Rushmore is like presidents.
Yeah.
Like it should be like
actual
a national thing. Like so maybe not so local unless you feel really passionately about that.
Well, Chloe Wold obviously is number one. And no. Let's see. Who would I put on the gay Mount Rushmore? Okay, I think an obvious pick is Marsha P. Johnson seems like a little too obvious.
A lot of people picked her. She seems to be a very popular one
because she's the face of Stonewall.
Yeah.
So, I would say maybe Marsha P. Johnson, RuPaul. As much as I think RuPaul I think Drag Race has in a way sterilized drag in a very boring way because it had to become more palatable for mass audiences. And it kind of, I've talked about this before, it's ruined a little bit of the crunchiness that I enjoyed or enjoy, but also brought it to the mainstream and has done wonders for like, you know, gay visibility, queer visibility, drag visibility. So I'll put RuPaul up there. Beyonce. Not really.
It's like, that's a really bad choice.
Yeah. I got two. Who are two of yours?
I would dabble with those two as well. I think they're great choices. Other ones I've seen thrown around, Harvey Milk.
Yep.
Another other couples I've seen thrown around, Divine, not Divine Intervention, but Divine, the famous drag queen, the legend. John Waters is another one I've seen.
I was
thrown
just
around.
gonna say, I'm gonna put Kenneth Anger on mine. Do you know who that is?
No.
So Kenneth Anger was the first openly gay filmmaker in Hollywood, and he worked exclusively in like experimental art films. His first short film, Fireworks, got him arrested on obscenity charges because it was essentially the first bukkake film, but like in an artsy kind of dude's getting surrounded by sailors and then he gets beat up and then a white liquid gets poured onto him. It's a fun film. But yeah, I would put Kenneth Anger on there. He's also super involved with Aleister Crowley and Thelema and stuff that we'll talk about on our Halloween episode one day.
Yeah, it's going to be here soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who are some other like queer icons. Because I feel like I would also want them to be queer in reality, not just like Cher. Yeah.
Abraham Lincoln,
Theodore Roosevelt.
both gay.
Queer icons. Yeah, I think I would need more time to really think about it. But if I just had to like shoot off for right now, RuPaul, Marsha P. Johnson. I was going to say Divine because I think she is more famous than John Waters himself. But that's already like 3 drag gender non-conforming people. So I'd want more representation. So maybe I would do John Waters just based upon that. This is a subject I want to get into after this, but I don't know how you would necessarily do it if you could pick like one. Maybe we'll just go with Harvey Milk just to make it easier for now. Because my next one, I'll talk about what I want to talk about in a second. But so those would be my 4: Harvey Milk, John Waters, RuPaul, and Marsha P. Johnson.
I would say mine is pretty much the same.
Yeah.
I might flip Divine and John Waters. I get what you're going with the representation, and really Divine wouldn't be known if it weren't for John Waters.
Well,
great.
Yeah, I love it.
What's the other thing you wanted to talk about?
What land should we steal it?
Put
it on. What national park should we put it in? On stolen land.
I bet there's a park called Bear.
No, you know what we should
something.
do? What's that one? It's like the Devil's. It's like I think it's in Wyoming, where it's just like and people think it's like a big ancient tree.
Yeah, the Devil's Tower.
Yeah,
right.
Let's do it there.
Yeah,
right on there.
Dynamite the side of that, and
yeah, the Devil's Tower would be a great place to put queer icons.
To put a gay Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, I think that's what we should do. Or if we want to like keep it really historically accurate, we should just invade another country and steal land and kill everyone, force some other places, and then put our queerness on it.
Or do we?
Like a really Christian nation where it's like 99% Christians, and then we just go in there and kill them all.
Rome.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess Rome.
Yeah.
I was going to say, otherwise we put this on like suckers, lollipops, so that we can shove the gayness down people's throats.
Do a lot to them.
Yeah.
Give them a little taste of their own medicine.
Yeah.
Well, so another thing I want to talk about, because we're just in Pride season, so I think we should just, keep rolling with this because it's a good month to talk about it.
Pride.
Things that are happening. I did see, because I've, like your algorithms are full of stuff related with Pride. I was seeing stuff, I think it was in 1994 when they did the big AIDS quilt. Is that what it was? I don't know if a quilt is the right word, but
I think so.
Yeah. And they had like all the people who had passed from it, they gave them like a section of it. And then I don't know if they put it like all together, if it was like big pieces. I think it was like big pieces all together, but I saw a picture of it and it was just really incredible to see. Because sometimes I don't think we realize how wild that was. Like, I think we know about it, but I don't think you really think about like what would it be an epidemic? But I've been hearing people talk about a genocide, and that's what I want to talk about.
Also a genocide.
Yeah, I truly was a genocide. And one thing I wanted to touch base on with is just for people who, I think most of our listeners are probably going to know this, but it's important to educate of the many lesbians that stood up at that time and helped and saved a lot of people. And not only like save them, but like helped people through that time. as like nurses, fill-ins, just being there because so many queer men were dying at that time. And so the lesbians, you know, stood up and really
helped
out. Yeah. The little anchors of our community. And I feel like a lot of times the lesbian and trans men community and our community are very overlooked because there's so much with queer men and so much with drag queens, and whether that be like good stuff or bad stuff. And then right now it seems to be the hyper focus is on trans people and pronouns. This is the hyper focus of negativity, not necessarily greatness. But I feel like so many times trans men and lesbians are overshadowed in our community and forgotten and not talked about. So let's talk about them.
Yeah.
Do you have any lesbian friends?
I have a couple lesbian friends.
Do you want to shout them out?
No, because I'm afraid that I don't remember their name.
Because you don't remember them, because you've erased them. Lesbian erasure.
Lesbian erasure. I have lesbian friends. I'm just also, they're people that I meet. They're people that I have met through work.
Yeah.
And like being a bartender, you meet a million people. And you meet the same people a lot. But then at that point, you know them a little bit and you're afraid to ask for their names again.
Yeah.
But I'm also just terrible with names. I'm really good with faces. Like, I don't remember what the context was, but someone last week, I think, said something about the lesbian, the lesbian regulars. And I was like, who? And they were like, lesbians together. Oh yeah, them. I'm so bad with names. So I will not be shouting out my lesbian friends by name for fear of fucking it up. But
I'm really terrible with names too, and it's really bad because like when you're in the public eye, people know you, but it's really hard to remember everyone.
Yeah.
And it makes me think of that. It's also like a TikTok going around right now too from Delta Works podcast where she's like, hi baby. And like, there's been all these drag queens, like when people come up to you after the show and you forget their name. So you just, start being like, hi baby. And that's like how you know if a drag queen has forgotten your name, if they don't actually use your name, which is very true. I did have a woman recently come up to me and be like pouring her heart out to me really sweetly about how beautiful she thinks I am and like watching me grow throughout the years and all this stuff, and just like really poured her heart out to me. And she walked away and I looked at Jem. I said, who in the fuck was that? I don't even remember them at all. Do not know their name. Don't recognize ever seeing them in my entire life.
Oh, God.
I feel really bad.
You have a stalker.
I wouldn't say that, but I haven't had the privilege of having an actual stalker yet.
I could be your stalker.
Well, why don't you?
I will. I'm just, tonight, you're going to get home and I'm just going to be like,
I'll just like come walking out in my living room topless, and then you can just be in the window, and then I'll be like, oh,
oh dear.
And then I'll take off running.
What are you doing in my boudoir?
Call the non-emergency number. They'll come here and I'll have to just be covering with the little towel on my head. Like, there was a man staring at me in my windows. And then I'll give like a really bad like example of who you are, so they'll never actually catch you.
Yeah. He was some sort of Asian.
Really short. Lots of hair, a full head of hair.
Very short, long, luxurious hair.
No facial hair.
None. Shaved clean from the eyebrows down. But
just a woman in distraught over her stalker. Yeah, no, I actually would be terrified if I had a stalker. That's like one of my biggest fears is like looking out the window and seeing someone staring at you. Yeah. Maybe I'll do it to you.
You don't know where I live.
Yes, I do. I've been to your house several times.
You've been to my house like twice.
Yeah. That's enough.
One to two times. I can't think of a second.
Three.
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure 3.
I can't even think of 2. I can think of 1.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I've been there at least 2 times. I think 3. You had a cookout one time, and then you had another cookout another time. I think they were all cookouts.
Probably all cookouts.
But I remember right where you live.
I know where you live, so we could be each other's stalkers. But then if we're stalking each other, how are we ever home to be stalked?
Well, then I guess I'd just become Tom Stalker. And you would just become my ghost rat stalker.
Yeah, that's true. We haven't heard Ghost Rat in a while.
No, I think I got her exorcised out of here.
Damn. Anywho.
Yeah. Lesbians.
Love them. And AIDS.
Lesbians and AIDS. And we do like a lot of times have like people saying like they wish there was more pride events for other like subgroups. And that's the one thing that I think is like the hard part about being in a smaller town versus a big city is like, we just don't have the numbers, I think, to like pull like a lesbian night, you know, like.
Yeah. Well, we did do, it wasn't a pride event, but at the bar, we did do a sapphic night. But it was like a Chapel Roan sapphic night.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we got more people, but I mean, there are a lot of, the problem isn't necessarily that there aren't, you know, sapphics in our community, that there aren't huge numbers of sapphics in our community. It's that just the attitudes around like bar culture, I think have changed so much.
Yeah.
That it's difficult to get them all. It's difficult to get people to get out of their houses in general for events.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that might be part of it. We could do a lesbian night sometime.
Yeah. I wouldn't be able to go though.
No, true. Well, I wonder, do the kids still do that thing? Like I remember when we were kids, we'd be like, I'm lesbian because I like girls. People ever said that in your high school or whatever?
No.
That was something they used to say in my high school. I'm lesbian, like a cis male. Being like, I'm lesbian because I like girls. You're gay, girl, because you like boys. They didn't say it as so I'm saying it right now, but
I mean, I get it, but I don't get it.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
It was something that it was like a middle school thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I mean, by that logic, you could say I'm half lesbian because I'm bisexual. Allegedly.
Yeah, I'm not buying that either.
I'm going to start saying allegedly every time I say I'm bisexual because I have not had sex with a woman in 5 years.
Yep. So it's not anymore.
Nope. I regained my V card for heteronormative sex.
You're just queer now.
Yep.
Just a big giant.
It's the big old
bottom.
Well.
Today?
I mean, not anything right now because I'm dealing with so much stuff that I'm not feeling
sexy.
Is
there anything I could do to help with that?
Cut off my head.
Okay. As long as it's consensual on the video.
I consent.
Okay. Hear that? I'm going to chop. Which head do you want me to cut off?
Both.
Okay. Which one do you want me to start with?
The top one.
Okay.
Please. Where were we going with this?
I don't know. We went really off track. We were talking about lesbians and trans men.
Yeah.
Because they're not talked about enough. But also, is it our space to talk about them?
Not really.
Not really, but I still want to bring them to the forefront because I just don't think enough people talk about them.
Not enough people talk about them.
We will get some on the podcast.
We'll get all the lesbians and the transgenders on the podcast
to get their perspectives.
Yes.
Because we do have them in our community and we're friends with them.
Yep.
And we can bring them on. So this would be a great opportunity for you to start emailing us questions that you have for them.
Yeah.
To know about what their life is like in a smaller town.
smalltownbiggays@gmail.com. If you are a lesbian or a trans person or just have a question for one of those groups, let us know.
Let us know so we can be prepared to ask away.
We're going to interrogate the shit out of them.
Yeah.
We're going to get to the bottom.
We're going to know everything about them.
Mm-hmm.
What makes them do the things they do. And
I'm going to ask what their social security number is.
Do you want mine?
Yeah. I was going to just beep it out if you actually said the full thing.
I don't trust you. That's as far as I'm going.
Okay.
Oh, it's like a game of chicken. AIDS flag.
AIDS and
of 94. I don't know. Was that the year like they officially launched it? I think.
I don't know.
We should be better.
We should be much better.
But I think 94. I remember seeing a picture of it and it was just pretty incredible.
The AIDS quilt is is currently 54 tons.
Oh my God.
That's incredible. Quilt was conceived in November of 1985. The last display of the entire AIDS memorial quilt was in October of 1996.
Okay.
When the quilt covered the entire National Mall in Washington, D.C., with an estimated 1.2 million people coming to view it.
Maybe that's the picture I saw then.
Probably.
96, yeah. That's wild.
So many queer people died in a genocide perpetrated by the Reagan administration.
That's really scary. I did see also recently like a research article about that they were able to like, I really need to start just like screenshotting and writing this stuff down so that I'm more prepared. But I could be completely ignorant when I say this, but I want to say like the AIDS virus is like a I'll just say particle for lack of better terms, but like that they could physically remove it now.
Interesting.
From it, like basically like slicing it away out of the system.
I hope so.
Yeah, which would eradicate it, I would assume.
Yeah.
Pretty much, which is crazy to think about.
AIDS treatment has taken such leaps and bounds. Like I remember the early 2000s being like terrified of AIDS because that was the fun thing on the playground to be like, you have AIDS, because fucking South Park and shit. South Park both sidesing America into where we are now, in my opinion. Yeah, it's just crazy. I don't think the younger generation necessarily like gives it the same gravitas that the older generations do, just because they weren't around for it. By the 2000s, it was, it was still present, but like treatment had already gotten a lot better. And then now it's like, you've got PrEP, you've got PEP, you've got treatments that make you negative and undetectable. We've cured like the third person completely of AIDS now. We talked about that on the pod a little while ago. Like, I don't think the younger generation knows just like how impactful that was for our community. And that's the reason why there aren't that many old gay people. It's not because it's trendy and new to be gay. It's because they're all fucking dead because they died of AIDS. That's why unattainable, not necessarily unattainable, but difficult to attain body types are considered like the gay beauty standard, is because that all started with AIDS. And if you were muscular and fit and hunky, people knew that you didn't have the disease. And that's why like muscle is a popular thing in the gay community. I mean, other than, the general reasons, but that's why it's so prevalent. That's what really kicked it off in like the 70s and 80s. It impacted queer culture in an insane way. And we should not forget about it because it could happen again.
No, it just like makes you think of like all the, and that's like in any sort of large tragedy of like all the lives lost and like what the world could be like with them in it now. And just like the amazing queer people that we lost so stupidly, and what our like queer culture and our queerness would be like now had we not lost all of that. And we're basically trying to be eradicated from the world, even though we still are, but not in that sort of a way.
Yeah. Let's bring back the AIDS protests of the 80s, the die-ins at the Capitol and all that.
Sure. What are we fighting about now? Trans rights,
general malaise and unhappiness. The LA riots are going on, right? I mean, not the LA riots, but like
riots in LA.
Riots in LA are happening right now. So we're doing stuff's happening. It's a great world we live in. This isn't a depressing episode at all.
Well, not everything in life is happy and cheerful and fun. There's realities, and you know what? We're all human and we have bad weeks, right, Chance?
Yeah, we do.
And that's okay. But we need to remember that there's a lot more great than negative, and sometimes it's easy to hyper-focus on those negative things and let the good things be overshadowed. So let's not worry about something that's out of our control currently.
And this is not... Travis is just saying this. This isn't related to anything we talked about prior to recording the podcast.
And let's focus on what we can control, knowing that this weekend is going to be all about celebrating Pride, and there's going to be hundreds of people crammed in to see us and the hard work that we've put into everything.
I just realized the people who are listening to the audio only version might actually think I'm crying right now.
He is.
Tears are streaming down my face.
I'm also biting his nipples, and that's why he's crying. So if you're not watching the video version, you're going to miss out on me gnawing on Chance's nipples.
We forgot to mention that I licked your nipple at the Turnabout show.
Yeah. Did you want to puke?
Yeah, a little bit. Very sweaty.
Yep.
Very salty.
Still can't get that out of your mind, can you? Now you know how my trade feels. The regret. The taste of regret.
The taste of regret. As soon as you bust that nut, and then they as soon as they bust that nut, and then they regret every decision they've made up to that point.
And then they punch you in the throat and leave.
Yep.
It's my favorite way to end a session with the trade.
That's how I leave the podcast every time.
Yeah. Chance just punches me in the throat and then walks out.
World Pride is going on in DC as we speak.
It is, which is irony at its best.
Truly, yeah.
In DC.
I saw pictures of the Sniffies map.
Oh, man.
Fucking insane.
I bet it's wild.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder how many glory holes are going on there.
Probably like 5,000 to 7,000. We could hop on the Sniffies map at in Washington, D.C. right now.
And find out how many glory holes are being entertained.
I have Sniffy's Premium.
Oh, she's rich.
Surprisingly affordable. Woo! Look at that.
Wow.
So we got a pump and dump, a circle jerk, a pump and dump.
Gay people are wild.
Gay people are wild. Good for them.
You know, good for people just knowing what they want. A good old pump and dump.
So 5 pump and dumps, one with 35 attendees, one with 13, one with 3, one with 11, and one with 25.
Wow.
Then a circle jerk with 10 people, twink and jock, circle jerk, and oral swap. Good for you. See what the 25 pump and dump.
What do you do if you're not a jock or a twink and you show up to the jock and twink circle jerk? Do they like, they're like, get out of here, fatty 2x4?
Well, how it works is on Sniffies, you don't get the details of where the event is unless you're like approved. Like you invite people or they ask to be invited, and then you check. At Bear 4 Milk, pump dump go scene for men who will top only June 10th, starting at 8 p.m. Ass up until midnight. Door unlocked, poppers lube available, recording friendly.
Love this.
Love. No lingerie or no lingering.
Oh.
No lingering, no other bottom. Be discreet in hotel, please. Man knows what he wants.
Do you enjoy anonymous hookups?
Yes.
Or do you like to, no.
No, I like Anon.
Ananis?
It's fun.
I'm trying to think if I've had an Anani.
Like a totally Anani.
Yeah. I'm always a peeper. I know what's going on.
Yeah.
In these parts. With these parts.
You should use well, no, it wouldn't be Anon then, would it? The guy who has the glory hole set up around here.
No, I know what he looks like, and it's just...
You still haven't used it?
No.
I think I have a friend who's used it.
I've had people on Grindr tell me he's good.
You know, when you love what you do, you never work a day in your life, do you?
I don't know. I hate everything I do.
Yeah, same.
Including this podcast.
You and me both, sister. You and me both. You should do a non-pump and dump.
Okay. Where? But it wouldn't be a non, because I feel like people who would come probably have watched this podcast, so they would recognize
true.
the thing. I don't think I can do anything anonymously in this town anymore.
Yeah.
Unless it's with DL men.
That's why you go to London.
Yeah. But I didn't even do anything anonymously there. I like to know what I'm getting into.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
I like to sniff around before I lick around.
Like a pig looking for truffles.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Not that you're a pig.
A pig in a wig.
You're a pig in a wig.
A pig in a wig.
That should be your next piece of merch.
Pig in a wig?
Pig in a wig.
Me with just dressed up as Miss Piggy?
Yeah.
It could be.
Gurmy.
I have done a Miss Piggy number. It's pretty legendary, actually.
What song was it?
It was, God, how many years ago was this now? It's probably maybe close to 10 now. But it was when there was a new Muppets movie coming out at the time. And one of their publicity stunts for the movie was Kermit and Miss Piggy had a breakup. And so there was this interview scene that I did where Kermit was interviewing, talking about their breakup. And I had Amber and Michael dress up as Kermit in the interviewer, and then I came out on stage and karate chopped him off, and then I did Bitch Better Have My Money by Rihanna.
Good.
And then into No Scrubs, and then Fuck Love Give Me Diamonds. It was a whole mix.
Nice.
Miss Piggy at Fireball. It was pretty good, actually. Proud moment. Because I also did that because there was this little bitch ass in town. We have this group. Maybe they listen. I hope they do. They like to call themselves, which is even more pretentious and obnoxious, the A-gays.
The A-gays?
Yeah, and they're in their 40s, which is really sad for you. One of them thought he was insulting me one night because he pretended he didn't know who I am, which he knew who the hell I was. And he's like, don't they call you Miss Piggy or something, or Miss Piggy-licious? And I was like, yeah, they do. Is that really an insult? Are you really trying to insult me? So then I ran with that, and I did quite a few Miss Piggy numbers, actually, for a while after that. Maybe I'll bring it back. I do have a Miss Piggy book over there that Barbara gave me.
Aww.
Yeah.
The A-gays.
Yeah, it's really sad. I hope they do listen. You're really sad. And you know what? Sure, you can buy a boat. You'll never buy happiness. And that unhappy life is written all over your face while you drive that boat around. A lot of them pretend to hate the drag queens, but guess who shows up to the drag queen shows? Hello. You know what they say? Your biggest haters are your biggest fans.
Truly.
And they're the exact type that would listen to this podcast to try and make fun of it while they're sitting behind their sad desks with their sad lives.
And doing nothing.
Doing nothing. And I am sitting here with my sad life, talking about it online. Doing nothing about it.
Which makes us better than you.
Yeah. Boom. Bitch.
Roasted. Mic drop.
Thank you to all of the wonderful lesbians and nurses who protected and helped our people through the genocide.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you to all of our lovely community members who come out to all of our Pride events. Thank you to everyone who listens to this podcast and supports it.
Mm-hmm.
Please be sharing. We need to get our viewership up for sure. If you haven't checked out Lavender Magazine yet, we are featured in the Pride Month issue.
Mm-hmm.
Check our article there and get out, because it's still early in Pride season. There's still a lot of stuff. Minneapolis Pride is coming up at the end of the month, so there's plenty of opportunities to get out and support Pride events. It's really important that we do that this year, as it is every year, you know, but every year it gets more and more important to do it. And don't be a little shy, lazy bitch. Get out and do something.
Get out and do something. And talk to the old queers. Ask them what life was like before.
Yeah.
You might be interested.
Ask them about their hemorrhoids too.
Ask them. They'll probably love to talk about their hemorrhoids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We will.
I think that's a good note to end on.
Yeah.
Chloe Woldhouse hemorrhoids.
Maybe I'll find out on Thursday.
That's your next piece of merch.
Love it. Okay. Well, thanks to Chance for all the hard work on the podcast. Again, we'll reiterate that, and then also thanks to TYB for the music. And if you haven't, you should get out. And he does a lot of Pride performances, so get out and support him. This will air after our Pride this weekend, but he will be in Eau Claire for Pride. So we're glad. But he's up in the Minneapolis area now. So check out his socials and find him and get out and support some queer artists.
Links are in the episode description.
Yeah. Download his music.
Download his music. Listen to his music. Love his music.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Small Town Big Gays is hosted by Travis Gorell and me, Chance Smith. Our music is 1 AM by TYB. You can check out his music. Links are in the episode description. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at STBG Pod. Find us on Facebook if you're a Facebook person. Email us at smalltownbiggays@gmail.com. And for more shit from me, Chance, go to strangehavens.com.
It's been nice to